Hey guys, welcome. It is once again Wednesday night, and here we are live at Squadron, and I am out of breath. I did it again. I forgot something, and I had to run out to my truck about 30 seconds ago. So, excuse me for a moment. So, how is everybody? I hope that you've had a great week. It's been a good one here. Been a busy one, and a very cold one. I guess it was last weekend, it was supposed to do all this ice stuff around here. And thankfully, here specifically where we are, we didn't really get anything. Now, I understand a lot of our friends just north of us and just south of us got it pretty bad. And I know in other parts of the country, some of you guys got it really bad. So I hope that all of you here tonight are good, your friends and your family, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to catch my breath in a minute, but we've got a good show for you tonight, or at least I think we do. I hope you enjoy it. We've got a lot of good stuff to look at. We have kind of announced this as announcement night. Now, a lot of the things that we're going to look at, some of them you might already know about. It's very hard this day and age to not already know about a lot of this stuff. These manufacturers, it is in their best interest to get the information out as fast as possible and as in many places as possible. So when they come up with something, they want everybody to know about it. Gone are the days that you had to go to a model show or wait for the catalog or the magazine or whatever to know about these things. Now, having said that, there is a show going on right now over in Nuremberg in Germany, and there are certainly several manufacturers there that are truly making some first time we've ever heard about it announcements. So that does exist a little bit, but a lot of this stuff tonight, you're going to know about it, but perhaps not. We've got a lot of good stuff to look at. So we will check that out. And before we get started, this book of photographs is what I had to go get. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But before we get started, let me say hey to everybody who's here tonight. We've got Wayne over at Yellow Wings coming in first tonight again. Man, you were in here early at 4:30. Wow. Well, it's good to see you. And you are absolutely right. Get snow outside equals good modeling weather inside for sure. So, Wes, good to see you tonight. Yeah, the history of some of those old companies, it is very interesting for sure. The Aurora, the Monogram, the Revell. And it's interesting you mentioned that because all of those old companies, a lot of those old classic vintage kits, they are coming back around for a second life, if you will, under the Atlantis Models brand. And we got a lot of those to look at tonight. So we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. Ken, good to see you tonight. And Wayne, perfect time to do some building, that is for sure. Alan, good to see you tonight, buddy. Randy is with us, working on another book review. Man, you are book review king, that is for sure. It's good to see you tonight. Dave, out in Arizona, good to see you tonight, buddy. Got your credit card ready for action. Well, I would like to think that with as many different kits and models and things we're looking at tonight, there has got to be at least one that'll tempt you. So good to see you tonight, buddy. Derek, speaking of Atlantis kits, Derek's working on one right now. That is very cool. Good to see you pulling that one old out. Danny, good to see you tonight, buddy. Chris is with us, and Bill. Two Hands. How are you, buddy? From the villages of the White Sands. Oh, yeah. Got to keep warm however you can. Arnell, good to see you tonight. I'll tell you, brother, I said happy birthday. And we'll see you next time. Let's see. Good evening to you, CLRA. And Alan Miles, interested to see what we've got cooking in the 3D department. Well, we do have some things to show you tonight, so we'll jump into that in just a few minutes. Two Hands, hello to you and you as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pull Jeff in here since you said hello to him. he can say howdy himself. How are you, Jeff?
Hello.
There you go.
How's that for enthusiasm?
Well, I should have brought you in earlier and let you talk while I breathe. I'm like, I kept telling myself all day, bring it in from the truck, bring it inside. And I'm sitting here, and about the time the Red Alert Hill March song came on, I thought, oh no. So
let me ask you something. Were you parked in the lower parking lot, or were you parked in the upper parking lot?
I was parked in the lower, but a little further
not
away from
too
away
awful
from the
bad.
house than I would like. And wearing socks on this slick floor, I wasn't going too fast because I thought, if I wipe out going around one of the corners, it's going to take me a lot longer to get back than if I just,
Right. And then I'm in here doing show tunes and making excuses for you while you hobble back to the chair.
Yeah, something like that.
Nobody needs to see that or hear that.
Ed Grun says, is MMD over in Germany? We're not. Dad is definitely not. He is in LJ tonight. But that's one of those things that, hey, maybe one of these days we'll get over there. It's just,
I don't know. After some of these announcements tonight, we may have to be over there.
There you
for the
go.
next one.
It'd be nice. It's maybe that's something that that'll be in our future, Ed, for sure. So let's see, Rob, good to see you tonight. Let's see, your team is Super Bowl bound. Well, good, buddy. Congratulations to you. Hope they win for you. Let's see. Two Hands, talk about new paints. We don't have anything new paints to talk about tonight, but we'll jump into everything that we do have to talk about here in just a few minutes. This one of the first things that you'll see when I pull this flyer up is if you've gotten one of our flyers before in the last year or two, I always do a little introduction, and I basically allude to the fact that we would like to do something like this. I don't use the word monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe monthly, maybe this one tonight's 40 pages long, maybe if I do a monthly one, it's only a couple of pages. It just depends on what's available each month. But there are a lot of things that we, the Squadron Products branded stuff, there's a lot of stuff that's probably could have been included in tonight's show, but for the past year, all you guys have heard us do is tell you what's coming, and very little of it has actually come yet. So we didn't want to continue that trend. So tonight, everything we're going to show you are things that are actually physically packed up and ready to start shipping, and you'll be able to order them on our website by Friday, or they are things that will be in that same boat by this time next month. And then there's a few other items that we list as a first quarter release. And when you see what they are, you'll understand why. But this what we're doing tonight, we hope to do. We would like to do it on a monthly basis. We would like tonight to be a staple each month, just like our show and tell. But we'll see how tonight goes and see how much material is available, not just from us, but from all the other brands that we represent. And if there's enough material to do this every month, then perhaps we can. But we'll see how tonight goes first of all. And
there's this term that they have called the requirements of the service. And, this time of year, especially with Nuremberg, and then later on in the year when Shizuoka happens, companies tend to make a lot of their big announcements. And so right now we have what's the word I'm looking for? An abundance, a plethora of information.
There you go.
That we're happy to share.
Yep.
We might not have that much in June, depending on, what's coming in and what's being developed by the manufacturers.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get started, Jeff, because we do have quite a bit to look at. And, Frank says it's party time. And the last couple of months, we've been saying as soon as Frank says it's party time, we got to get started. So,
so everything hinges on Frank. He's kind of like our de facto ghost producer.
When
he says go, we go.
Well, you know what he's going to do to us. He's, next week he's going to wait.
Yeah. So we're going to have to make stuff up until 9:30 and then.
Yep. Well, Frank, it's interesting that you ask about this. Can can we talk to Mini Art about doing P-47D Razorback with the Malcolm hood? So, and this is how we're going to start tonight. Mini Art's got a couple new P-47s. They do not have a Malcolm hood, I don't think, but they've got the one with the what do you call it? What am I trying to say, Jeff?
I have no idea.
Not the dolphin fin, the
Dorsal fin.
The dorsal fin, yes, that thing. They've got that coming. So they are, as you guys know, they are absolutely pumping out P-47s left and right. So if you are a P-47 fan, it is a really, really, really good time to be a P-47 fan, especially in 48 scale.
Yeah.
But the 48 scale is not the only game in town. Let's just get this started. Let me get this pulled up, Jeff. We'll just get this started right now. Here's the front cover of our January 2026 flyer.
What do you know? P-47s.
P-47s. Peter made this up for us. I said, Peter, give us a sky full of jugs. And he delivered. So,
well, this was the second iteration because he misunderstood you on the first one, and we can't show that image. But yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, I'm just here for the veal and the comic relief. So
there you go. Well, anyway, so all jokes aside, there really have been so many P-47s. There's always been P-47s, good old Tamiya kits. I mean, the sky's the limit on how many P-47s have been out there. But Mini Art kind of, I don't know, what would you say, Jeff, brought the popularity of P-47s back to the forefront? Is that a good way to say it?
I think so. I think from a strategic standpoint, I think they found a gap in the market. And they just kind of decided that we're going to fill this void.
Right.
And they're going to fill it up with P-47s. And
they're doing it.
They have done a pretty good job of exactly that. I have yet to see a Malcolm hood on the early D models, but I'm sure that somebody will come up with something.
Oh, there's no telling what they're going to do. I mean, just when you think they've done enough P-47s, there are two of them. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I've got a prototype of one of our new 3D printed full kits. And I just broke it. So I had to get my trusty gator grip out and see if I can fix it real quick before we get to that page. Leave it to me, right? So anyway, with the popularity of P-47s, with new kits coming out left and right, and I've got, I think, 5 new P-47 kits, 4 of which are not even released yet, that we'll be talking about in just a second. I will go ahead and just realize that I'm not going to fix that. And we'll flip the page, and then we will start out with what our 2026 squadron group build for the Nationals is going to be.
I think they kind of figured that out.
They probably figured it out by now, but it's going to be a P-47 group build. Now, this is you can build any version, any scale. From 144 scale, and yes, we have those. Platts makes a 144 scale P-47 all the way up to 24 scale. There are 24 scale kits out there. There's actually a brand new 24 scale kit coming that we'll look at in just a minute. And I did a little write-up thing over here, and we were trying to decide on not only something that, and yes, we realize this is not everybody's cup of tea. There are so many different genres of modeling. When you go to the Nationals, aircraft is not the only genre. You got ships, you got tanks, you got cars, you got everything. But to pick something that we felt would be interesting to the widest amount of people. And not only that, but pick something that there are so many options out there. You probably have a P-47 in your stash. And if you don't, as we will see when I flip the page here, just at our website, there are tons of options in all scales, whatever scale you like. There are so many decals out there. that have been available through the years. So we just felt like with, thanks to Mini Art making this such a popular subject at the moment, we felt this was the perfect subject for this year. And it helps also that last year at Nationals, our Squadron exclusive model kit for the show, it was a P-47. A lot of you guys picked those up. So we're excited. This poster here that you're seeing on the right, this group build will be a part of the Tiger Meet at Nationals, which is not judged. It's not a part of the regular contest, which means two things. First of all, it's free to enter. You don't have to pay anything to enter our Squadron group build. Second of all, it's not being judged. So if maybe you have one that won at Nationals and you'd love to show it off again, but you can't compete, bring it to our group build. Perhaps you're like me and you think that your stuff's not good enough to compete. Well, guess what? I'm going to put mine in the Tiger Meet in our group build, and it doesn't matter if it's good enough to compete or not. It's for fun. And we're looking forward to having I hope we have a lot. I know we're at least going to have 4 because Jeff's going to build one. I'm going to build one. Ben and Tom back at the shop are going to build one. So we've got at least 4. And if that's all we have, then so be it. But we're going to print this poster out and display it right in the middle of our group build. And everybody that participates and joins in on the fun, we're going to send you home with a copy of this poster without all the logos on it. It'll just be Peter's artwork that you'll be able to frame up at your house. So that'll be kind of cool.
So we do have 2 rules. Jeff? We do have 2 rules.
Okay.
Because I absolutely know in my heart of hearts that somebody's going to throw a temper tantrum because they can't bring their A10. The A10 Thunderbolt 2 does not count. This has to be a Republic P-47.
Right. I had not even thought of that, Jeff.
Yep. Well, I know they're going to do it. Having run a Nationals, you kind of tuned into all of these tinfoil hat questions. And the second one is The second one is there is an exception to the rule if somebody wants to build the XP-72.
Okay.
So the XP-72 was a high performance, high speed version of the P-47. So if you have it in your heart of hearts that you want to do an XP-72, that is based on the P-47 airframe. And of course, all of the experimentals, the P-47H and
yep, and any markings. It doesn't have to be U.S. You can do the British versions.
Yep,
whatever the Royal Air Force versions, whatever you want to do.
Australian, you can do British, Australian. You can do Free French.
You can even do a captured bird if you can find reference on it.
South American. I know during World War II, the Mexican Air Force actually flew P-47s. As did some South American and Latin American countries. So,
nice.
Use your imagination, go crazy. If you need an idea, by all means, hop on the Facebook group and ask some questions.
Now, speaking of that, Jeff, let me throw this out there, and this is brand new on YouTube. So you notice on this flyer, we're calling this the Squadron Modelers Club group build. Now, we have a private Facebook group, and the only requirement to join this group is that you're a current customer of Squadron. So if you go try to join the group and you don't get accepted, it's because the system is cross-referencing your email that you use to join the club, cross-referencing it to your Squadron account on our website. And if there's not one and you hadn't placed orders, then it's not going to let you in. Having said that, the Squadron Modelers Club, it's a lot of fun. I'm really loving seeing you guys post your builds and talk back and forth. I want to keep that group exactly what it is right now, just the generic whatever kind of models we're working on. So I don't want that group to be flooded with the 4 of us that are going to build P-47s for the next year, all about P-47. So we have started a second private group. Now, this private group, you will not find. I've got it set up to where you can't search for it. It's a private group. It's by invitation only. So if you notice down here in the bottom left of this page, it says, for more information on how to join this group build, go to squadron.com/group. That page is there, but there's nothing on it right now. So there'll be more on it tomorrow and hopefully by Friday. If you are interested in joining us in this group build, please go to that page. The email address will be there. Let us know that you would like to join us, what you would like to build, and we'll send you the link to join our private Facebook group for that. And that way, the group is just for us to show off what we're working on, hang out with each other. That way, this lovely book that I went to get is one of several from the old Squadron archives, and it's slap full of P-47 original photographs. All these pictures are going to be scanned in and put onto that Facebook group. So we're going to have all sorts of reference for ourselves to do this, and we're hoping it's going to be a lot of fun, hoping that you'll join in. Now, before we move on to the new stuff, the first couple of pages, just if you're wondering, well, I don't have a P-47, can I get one? What's available? Check
We
this
can
out.
solve that problem.
Yeah.
We can help you with that.
Oh, yeah. So, that's here. This is just a list of the shows we're going to this year, but you can see that on our website, so we won't spend much time on that right now. I had to fill this flyer up with something. So, P-47 Thunderbolt kits. There's that 144 scale kit from Platt's, first off. 72 scale kits, Hasegawa, Hobby Boss has them in 48, 72. Trumpeter's got them in 32 scale. Dora Wings has them in 48 scale, very nice C models. And if this isn't enough, let's flip the page. Look, 2 more pages full of them. You got 72 scale from Academy. There's more Hobby Boss and Tamiya. And then you start getting into the mini art. There's our Nationals exclusive from last year featuring Georgia Peach. We do still have a few of those left. Then you get into their other Razorbacks down there, and on the right, they got so many different versions. There's the French Air Force markings. And remember that they do each one of their, if they do one, they do 2. They do a basic version and they do an advanced version. Now, I saw in the chat, let's see, it was Ken Clark. Ken's asking about the advanced parts pack that we are going to offer for the Georgia Peach kit. That was a little bit of an oversight in logistics, and they got left over in Poland on our last shipment that they were supposed to come on. So no issue other than it's just going to take a little bit more time, but they are on their way to us now with our new shipment. So I really hope to have those here in the next few weeks. Though that is what Ken's talking about is our kit for Nationals last year was Mini Art's basic kit. It did not include the photo etch parts or the flaps to open up everything, all the compartments on that sprue. We are going to offer in very, very, very limited numbers those parts. Mini Art has agreed to let us do that, but we literally do only have a handful of them, and we're not putting them on the website because we can't sell you one if you didn't buy that kit from us. So if you would like one and you'd like to upgrade your basic kit to an advanced kit, please email us. Let us know that you bought one, what your order number is. If you don't have the order number, just send me a picture of your kit or something, and we will get you down for one. They're $15, which is basically the difference in a basic and an advanced kit. But anyway, so yeah, all these new kits, you got the new M is in Mary version down there. Those are in stock now. The N's, they came and went, but they're back in stock now. The 1RE, the new, the advanced version of the N's, those, they came and went, but they'll be back in stock on the same order as those advanced parts packs in another couple of weeks. The new Pacific Razorbacks just showed up. Tons of stuff now, and surprise, surprise, there's where we're going next. But before you look on the right side, look on the left side. This is very cool. 24 scale Razorback from Trumpeter just announced, and that is supposed to be. You guys are going to have to do some serious overnight building to get this done for the group build, because this is not scheduled to be here until this summer. I don't know if that means June or July, but if you got the speed like Danny, you could do it, but this is not something that's going to be in stock in the next few weeks or anything like that. Now, in the bottom left, this is also interesting. This is Qatari. I know nothing as far as release dates. I don't even know hypothetical release dates. All I know is that they have shown this off as a little flyer that they are intending on doing a brand new 32 scale Razorback. So Jeff, that's going to be right up your alley in 32 scale, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I've got 2 projects in mind. I got one ready to go. I got everything that I need for it. And if the second one works out and I have the time,
good.
Yeah, couple of 30-second scale.
Well, good. Well, I'm trying to hold myself back. Of course I want to do a ton, but I'm going to try to do 2. I want to do a Razorback and a bubble top, and in 48 scale. No idea which ones yet, but that's what I want to do. And there's the dorsal fin version of the M that I was talking about, and of course another RAF Thunderbolt right above it. So again, Mini Art is going to continue pumping these things out. And Trumpeter jumping in with another 24 scale, Qatari with a 32 scale. Like I said, if you're a P-47 fan, it is a really, really, really good time to be that.
Absolutely.
And if you're not a P-47 fan, you're probably going to have to talk yourself into being, because it looks like there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming out. The P-47 train has not left the building yet.
And before anyone asks, the Trumpeter P-47 kit is all new tooling.
Yep.
So this is not a repop of the vintage fighter series kit.
That is correct.
From a few years ago. So this is a brand new tool.
Yep. That is very, very true. So, all right. Well, that's enough about P-47s now. Again, I hope that you will join us. And previously we had mentioned that if you wanted to join our group build, but you were not able to come to nationals, if that fits, if that's you want to join the group build, but you can't come, email me or call me and let's talk about it, because I can't commit to that for everybody without knowing details. If you got a little 72 scale plane and you're going to send it to me and you don't want it back, it's probably not a problem. But if you're wanting to send me a 24 scale Razorback and you want me to ship it back to you, that may be a problem. So like I said, if you'd like to join us and you can't be there, just send me an email and let's have a conversation about it. We'd love to display your kit, but it may or may not work out. So
Randy's asking for the dimensions of a 24 scale P-47. And Randy, just off memory, I built the vintage fighter series kit a while back, and I think the wingspan was about 26 inches, which would make the length of the plane about probably 28.
Okay.
So you're looking at 2 feet by 2 feet, give or take.
Well, it's big anyway, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Well, moving on, now that everybody has seen the on the right side of the screen, as you all know, or you may not, as we announced several weeks ago, we Commander Models and Iron Shipwrights, which were both the same company, Commander Models being the armor and military vehicle side of the business, Iron Shipwrights being the ship models side of the business. That company became a part of the Squadron family of products, and along with it came one of our newest employees and good friend, John Warnicki. Anyway, ever since that announcement was made, of course, everybody wants to know what our plans are with it. And like I said earlier tonight, we're really trying to do our best to not put the cart in front of the horse anymore and make sure that we actually have production plans and prototypes finished and a game plan before we tell you guys what we're doing, because otherwise we're just telling you, our wish list and, without a way to back it up. So up on the top there, that top picture, that is an M2 high-speed tractor, the Cletrac.
Mm-hmm.
And that is actually what I broke a few minutes ago. So yeah, the windshield there. But you probably can't hardly even see what I'm holding in my hand. This is 48 scale. It's a little guy. And there's what I broke off. But this is the prototype. This is the successful prototype, hurriedly glued together. Several pieces broke off. So, but that's it. That's the physical size. Gives you an idea. These are prototyped, ready to go. Now it is just a matter of getting them set up for production, which is something we will talk about in just a few minutes. And actually, our production manager, Matt, is going to join us tonight. So, and he'll give us a little bit of insight of what's going on in the 3D room. But the M2 tractor, this is something that is going to be very cool. I actually found some cool pictures of these things pulling P-47s, and I thought, oh, that'd be an interesting picture to show tonight. But I mean, you can imagine this is going to be a very useful vehicle for any type of aircraft diorama. Here we've got it featured pulling Double Trouble, which is the front cover of our upcoming B-24 book. So this kind of made sense for us. This is, like I said, I just showed you that in 48 scale with 3D, and this is alluded to on the next page too with the ships. With 3D, it's very interesting because you can design something. Jeff, I believe you designed our 20 millimeter guns in 1-to-1 scale.
That is correct.
So you can do something. For example, this M2 was actually designed in 1/32 scale. So that is coming. But as you can imagine, that's not near as popular as 48 scale for aircraft. But it really allows us to do a lot more with a design versus an old school traditional resin casting. Had this been an original resin casting or even a plastic injection kit done the way it was done years ago, this is it. This is the size. It can never be changed. But in 3D land, it would give us the option. For example, this M5 tractor on the bottom, this is featured in 35th scale. But the 3D land, as I like to call it, gives us the ability to do this, say, in 1/16 scale. Or the sky is the limit on what we can do with these designs. So again, we want to make sure that we have what we're doing in our hands before we tell you. But the biggest question when we announced that we were going to be doing these commander things, the Iron Shipwrights things several weeks ago, doing them in 3D, the emails started coming in. Well, can you do it in this scale? Can you do it in that scale? And the answer is yes, we can. But with 24 hours in the day, and we do like to sleep some. Time is the limiting factor here. So, but we're learning. Yeah, we're learning. We're getting faster, and this is kind of the new face of commander models. And as you can see, they will be called squadron models. But just like scale colors is the legacy of squadron colors, and commander is the legacy of where we're going with these. So we're looking forward to it. Excited. Hope that you guys find something in the future releases that you want to try. Perhaps one of these two. So that's what we've got coming there, and then we're going to flip the page. And we're going to turn our focus to the Iron Shipwrights. And same story with this, just ships instead of tanks and vehicles. The old designs, John had started, and if you were buying Iron Shipwrights kits or you're following that brand at all, you know this. But John had started in the past, however long it's been, learning 3D. He had started converting some of his old resin parts into 3D. And if you have gotten any of those kits in the last year or two, I would say, you probably have started to notice more and more of the small parts becoming 3D. Well, we intend to continue that trend and, in fact, convert all of the parts and possibly some of the hulls as well. That's what we're working on. But definitely all the small parts is going to all be 3D. We've got some really good results so far. You might be looking at some of these submarines, and I had to learn what some of these are. Like this Potvis, that's a you know what that one is, Jeff?
Dutch.
Yeah, Netherlands. I mean, come on, really? And then you've got the Dracon. I guess that's how you say it. Israeli. There's another Israeli sub that's a sister ship of that, the Leviathan, and the image didn't fit on this screen. But some very, very cool stuff, but very odd stuff. And we picked these, to be quite honest with you, to make sure we know what we're doing before we do. A lot of you guys are probably going to want these, but there's some other subjects that we're working on that everybody's going to want.
Yep.
So we want to make sure we know what we're doing with some of the, I don't want to call them not popular kits, but I mean, we can be honest, these are not going to be as popular as some other things that that you guys know were in the Iron Shipwrights line. So we're kind of starting to get our feet wet. These are some of the smaller submarines, a little bit easier to start with, to make sure that Matt and his team can do what we've tasked them to do with these designs that John has for us, and of course Jeff's jumping right in there. The cool thing about Jeff and John, when we brought both of them together, they've got several other guys working behind them too. But Jeff's got this huge catalog of stuff. Well, John's got this huge catalog of stuff. So now it's more of a question of, okay, how do we take the best of what we've got and come up with something spectacular? So it's a good thing, but that has also cost us some time. But in the end, it's going to be a wonderful thing. The Edmund Fitzgerald here, this is just a little bit of an obscure subject because it's not a battleship, it's not a destroyer. But this, believe it or not, was one of Iron Shipwright's better selling kits. They offered it in 350th scale, they offered it in 700 scale. And we thought that this would be an excellent subject as one of our first re-releases, completely reworked, completely updated. And this.
Well, I think we got to, at least as far as Edmund Fitzgerald is concerned, nothing from the original Iron Shipwrights kit will be in this new kit.
Right.
This is a completely new tooling. We're working off new 3D designs, 3D printed hull. So you are getting an Iron Shipwrights-esque Edmund Fitzgerald in the subject matter, but the kit itself is all new tooling.
Yep. And that's going to be the case with most. Actually, It's going to be the case with all of them, because we're getting pretty handy with 3D scanning, all of these new technologies, and the Iron Shipwrights kits. And I don't want to pick on any of John's kits, so I'll pick on something of my own. The old Yankee Model Works stuff, the Montana, one of my favorite kits. That was a traditionally hand-sculpted hull. Both sides were not the same.
Yeah, and you can see it.
Yeah, and you can see it, and that's pretty common back with old hand-sculpted stuff. So any of the Iron Shipwrights, if there be any imperfections in it at all, we get to fix that in the 3D, because when we scan those holes in, and John's really good at drawing from blueprints. So, whether he scans it, whether he whatever the case may be, in 3D land, that's my new favorite word, we're able to make all sides symmetrical. Everything gets to be perfected. So, like Jeff said, yeah, Edmund Fitzgerald, it was a kid in the Iron Shipwrights line. But when you guys get your hands on the new version under the Squadron models, it's all new tooling. And that's going to be the same case with these submarines and with everything, even backing up to the Commander stuff. If I can get back to the right screen, Commander had a lot of great armor subjects, some of which may never see the light of day again because there's no need for them. But same case with those. Anything that we do is going to be all new tool. So it'll be cool. I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. These, as far as a release date, we're not putting any release dates on these exactly. We're kind of, in conversation saying first quarter of this year. Some of them are a little closer than others, but we'll have more information on that in the coming weeks, maybe the next episode of this announcement night. Now, this one here, that Clee track will probably be the first one of these you see, because it's pretty much ready. We would like to say that's a February release, but again, we'll see how this goes. Now, before we flip over to the next page, I want to bring Matt in here. This is our production manager. Matt, how are you, buddy?
There
I'm
he
doing
is.
very well. How are you guys? Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how are you, brother?
Man, doing well. Doing well.
Good. Good to
Figured
hear.
we'd go ahead and bring you in because you probably got tired of hearing me yap.
Well, got more tired of hearing Jeff yet.
There you go.
No, give me
I
a hard
am.
time.
Come on, when he gets on a roll, I'm just here for the comic relief. I haven't said 2 words.
There you go.
Absolutely, sir.
Killing
Good
me
to see you
here.
again.
Killing me. Likewise.
Well, you've heard what we've said so far, and like I said, this is Matt, and he is kind of heading up our production room as far as 3D printing goes. He's got a good group of guys and a gal in there working with him, and Matt, I know that a few weeks ago when Jeff was down here, he kind of showed you the ropes, and by the time Jeff left, he felt confident that you knew what you were doing, and in the last couple of weeks since he's been gone, I can vouch for that. You definitely know what you're doing, and you've got us literally hundreds, if not thousands, of these little boxes ready to go, and they should be for sale come Friday. We got 6 different designs, as you'll see when I flip the page, that are ready to go right now, that you'll be able to order Friday, and then you've got a whole bunch of other ones that you're queuing up for production, getting ready to go for February releases. How's everything going? I mean, this is a couple of months ago, this was all new to you, but you've done a good job so far. So give us your take on how things are going and where we're looking like in the coming months.
Absolutely. First of all, I appreciate and I'm glad to be part of the team and part of the group with you guys here. And as you said a minute ago, I guess I'm kind of the circus ringleader of the 3D land. And so over in 3D land, we have some very, very talented people. We're doing very well. I will say that the one thing that, we've worked, Brandon, you and I, and Jeff and John, I mean, we've worked so closely together to really keep quality control. We printed so many prototypes and worked together so long on a personal level that I really expect to get a Thanksgiving invitation to each of your family dinners, and I better get a Christmas card because we have worked really, really close together to make sure that we get all of this, accurate. But as we have went through all these prototypes and the few issues that we did have, we've brought several dozen machines online and more to come. And we have a team in place that's very, very talented. I will say that. And our production has ramped up so well that, like you said, I think inventory levels are doing great, and we're going to do really, really well. And
Right.
Really exciting.
I'll flip this real quick. That over there on the left, that if I understand correctly, those are the 6 that we've got ready to start shipping out on Friday.
Yes, sir. And we have more that are already prototyped, and Jeff and I worked together and got quality control right, and we got more coming online. So
Yeah,
it's exciting time.
Everything on the right side, these are the things that we are 99.9% positive will be part of our February releases.
Yep. And I think we should clarify here, the items that are on the left, those 6 items, somebody might look at it and say, well, it's only 6 things. There are literally thousands of those 6 items that are now ready to go. So there's a process that we go through in terms of myself and John and some of the other designers. We'll take a design, we'll develop it, we'll prototype it, and then we set the file up for production. We send it down to Matt. He prototypes it to make sure that what is happening on our machines, because I still have printers here for prototyping, what happens on our machines happens on their machines. And then if everything works out, then I take that and turn it into what we call a batch file, which is, a whole collection on a build plate, and then they start running them.
And Jeff, too, you'll notice over here, a lot of these guys that you've been watching us for the last year or two, yes, these are the same parts that we had some available of at Nationals this past year.
The difference is these are mass produced in larger quantities.
Yep.
And when we initially launched these parts at Nationals, I was printing them here.
Yeah,
and
on a couple
packaging
of
them on a couple of printers and packaging them. And now I can safely say that unless you guys go absolutely crazy on us, we're never going to run out of stock of those 6 items.
Yeah, I mean, when back at Nationals, this was our idea. We thought it was cool. We're like, hey, let's make some ship stuff. It'll be neat. We didn't anticipate how well it was going to go over. You guys were great. You guys loved them. You gobbled them up. We got some good feedback. There was not really anything necessarily wrong with those that we had back then, but we got some good feedback and we've improved them, made them easier to work with. Basically, inside of one of these boxes, you're looking at a little, like the Quad 40s, you get 8 per pack. It's really good. And after Nationals, that's when we realized, wow, I think we're on to something. And then that's when you guys started hearing about us talk about building a 3D production facility. And by the way, Matt, I think I'm going to print us up a sign that says 3D Land.
Yep.
over the new place. And
it's got to be like kindergarten letters.
Right.
Different colors, like refrigerator magnet letters.
Yep. But
I want to.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
One thing I want to make sure that we reiterate is, and as you and Jeff well know, I mean, our quality control and accuracy of each of these parts has been the top priority, and we worked really, really hard to make sure that everything is exactly right. And I think Jeff has probably lost sleep multiple times from having to adjust files. So, get it right, to get production right. So
I kind of beat it into your brain when you first started that if one barrel is crooked, we're going to hear about it.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. I hear that every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
And I remember I remember the look on your face when one of the first prototypes came off, and I said, "You see that barrel right there? See how it's little? Yep, throw it out." And you looked at me like, "We can't do that." Yes, we can. If the parts aren't perfect, I don't want them going to the customer. And you brought up a point, a very valid point too, that we are in constant communication on a daily basis. And just because I run something, I run it here and it prints out and I look at it and I say, yeah, it worked fine here. Here you go. Here's the file. And then suddenly I will get feedback saying, you know what? This could be done a little differently, or this could be done a little better, or we're getting the odd failure here and there on the print, and maybe this would solve it. So then I go back in and tweak the file to his recommendations for a production environment. So we're kind of both learning that give and take at the same time. And yeah, there you go.
I told Matt to make us up a cool picture to take. So I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you did that in probably a few days worth of production.
Oh no,
probably less than that.
That was a couple hours.
Yeah, that's a month's worth of work for me. Up here by myself.
What I also would like to add is that, if I can, sorry to interrupt you, Brandon, but
no, go ahead.
It's a very fluid environment too, where I think we have done a great job of passing those quality control aspects down to the team that we have, and everyone that works on my team in the 3D land are very, very talented, very, very smart people. Most of them a whole lot smarter than I am, but we all play a hand in quality control and making sure that every part is accurate. So very, very exciting times. I can only hope for the future, how much more we're going to be able to do.
Well, it's testament to the people too, because when I left Ringgold and headed back north to Wisconsin, we set up a chat room for the 3D team to communicate back and forth. And for the first 3 or 4 days after I was gone, question. Now If I get one question a day, it's a lot. So what that tells me is that you guys have figured it out in a very, very short period of time.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me move on just a little bit so we got a lot of questions over here. Steven's asking about 200 scale. Mark's asking about 700 scale. So I'm going to flip the page and some of those questions are going to be answered. But so, like I said, we got 6 things. These will be available for you to buy come Friday. And then this is a little preview of what's to come in February. We had previously mentioned, like, I don't know, 10 or 20 something different variations of 20 millimeter guns. Here's another 5 or 6 of those with more to come. All the Mark 37 variations. Jeff's got every one of them nailed down. You move down here a little bit, get into some of the 5-inch 38s, the non-enclosed, just all sorts of stuff. At the very end, you see the Seagull. So there's a little teaser that, yes, we have some aircraft planned as well. Seagull being the first one. We wanted to throw one in there just to let you guys know that stuff's coming too. But what's going to happen? Let's see, who was it? Mark asked about 700 scale. A lot of these things you will see in 700 scale, and that's going to most likely be part of our February announcement night. We'll tell you what's coming in that. But in 700 scale, I'll use 20 millimeter guns, for example. In 350 scale, we got all sorts of different versions. In 700 scale, we're going to be doing good to have more than about 2 or 3.
Right.
Because in that small size, gun sights and all that kind of stuff you can't see. Though there may be a few of the shield shapes that might make a difference. Same thing with the Mark 37s. A lot of those things, it will be a lot more simple, I guess we'll say. So if we've got 1,000 parts in 350 scale, we might have 200 in 700 scale. But that's coming now. As far as 200 scale, we'll flip the page, and I'm going to let Jeff take this one because this is his baby, and he's excited about it.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's not flipping. Oh, there we go.
Easing.
Yeah, over on the left, the USS Johnston. And this is going to be 200 scale, but it is going to be a conversion set made to be used alongside with the trumpeter kit of the USS Fletcher.
Correct.
Jeff, tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Well, what we're going to do, and we have been talking behind the scenes for quite some time about developing our own kits. And we came to the conclusion that the market changes so fast that it would probably be easier for us to do conversion kits for existing kits that are out there. Part of the problem of developing a full-on kit is not only the time, but the monetary investment. Since these conversion kits use pretty much all of the standardized parts that we're already developing, we came to the conclusion that it would be far more economical for everyone, including the customer, to do conversion kits for the existing trumpeter hull. So this will be the first of many. This is USS Johnston. She was a mid to late war square bridge Fletcher, famous for her involvement with Taffy 3 and the Battle of Surigao Strait. And she is a square bridge, midship 40 millimeter guns. So all of the 40 millimeter guns, all of the 20 millimeter guns, the additional guns will be added on. You'll get the upper deck house structure. You'll get a 3D printed fire control director, your midship 40 tubs, new torpedo tubes, Mark 14, Mark 15 torpedo tubes. You will get new K guns and depth charge racks for the stern, and you will get a new aft 40 millimeter mount between mount 4 and 5. As we progress, there will be late war round bridge and early war square bridge, and we've got a couple of other surprises. Yes, I'm sorry, Samar, not Surigao Strait. So the possibilities are endless. There were 175 ships in this class, and it's very, very rare that any two sister ships were identical at any given point in time, as they were undergoing refits going back and forth. So our goal will be to fill in those gaps with the kits that are already out there.
Now, and Jeff, if I can cut in, that's not to say that we're not going to make our own full kits. We've already established that we will,
Yep.
you know, from the Iron Shipwrights catalog or whatever.
Yep.
But Jeff, I think it's safe to say that Jeff's favorite ship is probably the Fletcher class. He's got a couple of family members that served aboard those.
Wrote a book on them.
Yep. So we really wanted to make one, but after we thought about it, it was like, there's so many Fletcher kits out there. Why don't we just convert those to the ships that we would really like to see, like Johnston? So it'll be cool. It'll be neat. You know, companies like Edward, they make a very good business for themselves, not only tooling up their own stuff, but taking other people's things and adding accessories to them, like we saw them do with the Bloody 100th B-17 kit. So there's a lot of cool stuff we can do here, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, I will say this, on one of these pages, and you know where we're going next. On one of these pages, I alluded to, I think I put it in here. Yeah, I did down here. I actually used our term, Jeff, the buffet.
Yes.
So all of these parts we in-house, in 3D land, we're calling this our buffet of ship model parts. Yep. And basically the buffet is full of 20s and 40s and 5-inch guns, and it's going to be full of everything you can imagine that was used on warships. Right now, obviously, we're working on the U.S. Navy, but if it was on a U.S. Navy, it's probably going to be a part of our buffet. And the idea is, once the buffet is done, we can take our tray, which happens to be a Fletcher hull in this case, go down the buffet line and grab what we need. So I say that to say this kit, this Johnston, is going to kind of sort of be released in two parts. First, you will see those buffet parts, if I can call it that, the 20s, the 40s, the Mark 37s, the torpedo tubes. You're going to see all those parts available as individual items in 200 scale that you can buy just like this. Because as soon as we get those ready and prototype, there's no point in not selling them, because some of you guys might just want to upgrade your Fletcher and build it as a Fletcher, or the new Stevens that's about to come out, and those parts would be available. And then we'll follow up with the parts needed specific for Johnston shortly after that. Now, was it last week or the week before we talked about the Pontos Fletcher set? And I think it was Ed that might have mentioned, man, I wish there was a little bit lesser expensive option to upgrade, just do some basic upgrades. There is our option to do some basic upgrades, and those will be ready in we said first quarter for the Johnston, but the buffet parts should be ready pretty soon.
Probably within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that will. I don't see any reason for that not to be a part of our next episode of announcements in February. So, but if you are one of those guys that just wants to go all out and get all the bells and whistles and everything you possibly can, down at the bottom here, the Pontos Super Upgrade Set will be available this. Well, I say this month. It's not February yet. It's supposed to be available in February. It's got everything in a bag of chips to upgrade your Fletcher, to build it as Fletcher. So take a look at that if you like.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, this next page, this is another thing. This is what we're calling a first quarter. This is something else you guys have heard us talking about for a long time now, and this kind of is in the same case as the other things. Back when Jeff was doing these as SC3D, Scale Colors 3D, he was making them. It was fun, and people liked them. When we showed these off at Nationals, they were gone the first day of Nationals, and we've not been able to keep up since. Now, since we have Matt over there in 3D land, this will soon not be a problem. But this is just a case of setting up production correctly and making sure that we can produce enough of them before we say that they are officially ready. But this is a sampling of what's to come in the track world. We're just wanting to give you an update on all the things we've talked about in the past year. And now that we got us Matt down there, we believe that we'll be able to actually get them to market for you guys.
Yep. There are, at last count, there were 42 different sets of tracks. When back in the day when I was running SC3D, I was constantly getting requests like from my good friend Frank Landris over there looking for STRV 103 tracks. I had limitations. The printers at that time, the resolution was not sufficient enough for me to do Panzer 1, Panzer 2, the real, a lot of the Japanese tracks, which were very, very small. So I focused on some of the bigger, heavier stuff, Tigers, King Tigers, KVs. And then as the resolution of the printers improved over time, as I was doing this, I started getting into tracks that required a little bit more mechanical engineering, the Panzer 3-4 tracks and the Sherman tracks. So since these have fallen out of production, printers have gotten even better than they were before. So I'm kind of excited about jumping back into this and seeing how far I can push the envelope with some of these newer track designs. And I say I had 42 track sets. I have probably another 35 or 40 track designs that are ready to go.
Yep. And tonight, you may have figured this by now. A lot of this, if you've been following us for the past year, a lot of this stuff, like the tracks that we're showing, these are the ones we've already shown. And like ships, yes, we showed you a couple of new ship things because we wanted to show you something new. But for the most part, this month is just getting everything that we've talked about already, getting it out. And then next month, we're looking forward to showing you some things that perhaps you've not seen yet. So,
yeah. And Roba's looking for T80s. I'm looking at RMSH for T72s. I've already got OMSH for T60s, T54s, T55s, Tirons, things of that nature. So as time progresses, and I get the time, because again, I'm one guy and there's only 24 hours in the day. As the priorities arrive, I try to allocate as much time to them as I can.
Well, and we're working on that too. He's got him a couple of guys. We got this one guy that's working with us now doing designs, and I'm sure you guys will meet him at some point, but his name's Gabriel. I'm not even going to tell you what he's working on, but I'm excited. It was something that we've been wanting to do, but none of us had the time. We all have I don't, but Jeff and John, everybody else has got the ability to do it, but it's just like Jeff's talking about with tracks. I don't have enough time. So we found Gabriel, and he's working away on something that I think you guys are really going to like. So hopefully we'll have some updates on that next month, but not tonight.
And this tracks are a whole different beast from printing ship parts.
Yep.
Because tracks are mechanical. If you 3D print a gun turret, that gun turret just sits on top of the deck and you're good to go. Tracks have to, they have to fit, and pins have to fit, and track journals have to fit, and the tracks are all workable. So, and there's a lot of tolerances that have to be made. So, that have to be done. Cool. So, that might be another visit down to Georgia to get Matt and the team up to speed on tracks.
There you go. Well, let's keep moving along. We got a lot more to look at. The last page on Squadron Products, then we'll move along. Of course, you're going to see some poker stuff when I flip the page, but just want to give a quick update. Frank will appreciate this update. Well, he probably not. He might not like it, but at least he'll appreciate that I mentioned it here at the bottom. But at the top of the page, first of all, the new Squadron diorama series that we've kind of hinted at, Grass Tufts being the first product. We finally have these ready. It sounds silly, but the problem with that was we had a delay in getting our packaging manufactured. But that finally got worked out, and these will be ready starting in February. We literally have over 100 different varieties of grass tufts in multiple colors, sizes, with or without flowers, just all sorts of cool stuff. You can see some images there. This is a kit or a little diorama that Jeff actually put together to feature some of the grass tufts. Really neat stuff. So that's coming. The Squadron diorama series, we hope to grow it into other things in the future. But for right now, you'll have all sorts of different Tuffs to look at and choose from. We mentioned it last week, but I put it in here, the Planes, Names, and Dames book series. It is still going, and actually, I can't mention a name yet until we have details set in stone. But one of the last pieces of the puzzle to finish this project was I needed a good writer for captions for all the pictures. Well, that was delivered this week. We're working out the details, and perhaps in the next week or two, I'll be able to share who that's going to be. But you all know him, and it's going to be pretty exciting if we can get the details pulled off. So,
why am I hearing about this for the first time? I mean,
because it's literally I hadn't even. This was like in the last 48 hours.
You got a guy working for you that's written books. I mean, come on, you could have just called me. I would have done it.
Well, I know, but what were we just talking about on the last page?
Handing as much work off to Matt as we possibly can.
Well, anyway, so Frank, this one's for you, buddy. The Birds of War series. Yep. What I've realized, and what we've all realized and agreed, it's not just ships and old armor kits that need to get out of resin land and come over to 3D land. We finally did get Rosie the Riveter done, and we got a couple dozen castings created, and they're here. And I looked at them and I thought, 10 years ago, this was an amazing set of castings and an amazing kit, and I would have been excited about it. Fast forward to today, where there's lots of 3D lands, especially in the 1/6 scale figure world. I'm just not 100% satisfied with it. So that being said, our sculptor has somehow or another taught himself 3D design. We have 3D scanned in the hand sculpted sculpts, and they're being reworked into 3D land. And that is how we intend to release them. The sculptor, you see his work in progress down there in the bottom right, the gray, that is a B-17G nose art. And I'd say that for his very first 3D sculpt, he knows what he's doing. But it's very easy to learn 3D when you're already a master at doing it with clay. So I'm excited to see what he does, excited to get those going. But Frank, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit longer. Having said that, if you are an old school resin figure kit builder and you don't mind an old school resin casting, I do have them, and I will sell one to you. They're just not going to go up on the website for the general public because this day and age, the expectations are perhaps a little bit more than what they used to be. So, Frank, if you want an old school casting, I can get you hooked up this week. Now, poker. They are over in Nuremberg, and as we already knew, they had a new licensing agreement with Ducati and also with Ferrari. As of a couple of hours ago, I had not seen any Ferrari announcements yet, but they did announce their Ducati motorcycle, which is what we're looking at here. Jeff, have you seen any updates? Have they done the Ferrari announcement yet?
They have not, but Poker put a little teaser out there of some images of the real car that they were scanning for their upcoming release. And I think I know what it is.
All right.
I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah, let's not speculate, but I mean, you got to believe that they're going to announce it by the end of the week in Nuremberg. So we'll see. But
I did figure it out because I took the photos that they posted.
Yeah,
and it's really, they take a photo of a piece of a red fender, and they'd say, "Do you know what car this is?" And it's just a piece of red. But then when you start getting like, my brain starts turning, I'm like, kind
of start figuring it out.
Yeah, I'm in Photoshop and I'm laying that photo over the top of other cars, and I think I may have figured it out.
Well, you'll have to write it down on a piece of paper so you can't change your mind. And then when they make the announcement, you can show me that you knew what you were talking about.
Well, I already did that because I told you in a chat message earlier today what I thought it was.
Oh, well, I need to pull those up. Well, we'll look at that. Bill is asking what scale this Ducati is. This is 1/4 scale.
Fourth.
Yeah, 4th. So it's a big dude.
Yep.
It's going to be cool. So we'll see. And then down below, the two Paganis and the Porsche, those are due in this month. Well, the Porsche and the gray Pagani is due in this month. The white Pagani is due in March. If there is, well, for Dave Sanchez, he was asking me about this. There was some instructional issues and other things with this gray Pagani. From what I've been told, it was a matter of the instructions. These instructions have been updated to fix these problems. I have been told that this is also why these kits do not include a physical instruction, because they actually go back and they update the instructions quite often. I didn't realize that, but that's why the instructions are digital, so that they can go back and make changes to them and instruct us to build the model better, I guess. I don't know. I'm still new at the poker thing, but I'm learning as I go, and I will inform you guys with whatever I find out. So perhaps I'll know more when they get back from Nuremberg, and let me know more information. So, all right, now on to the bulk of the new releases, and we won't. I mean, we're already at over an hour, so we're not going to stop at each and every single one of these. This flyer will be posted on our website by Friday, so you'll be able to go back and see all this. All of these items are not listed on our website yet, but that's what we're working on, trying to get them put up in either the pre-order section or the future announcement section. A lot of these, in particular, these mini art items we're looking at here, most of these, I don't want to say all without having my data in front of me, but most of these are due in stock in the next month or two. These are not that terribly far out. And I think a couple of them may actually already be here. That Pack 40 down in the bottom, I know I've seen that at the shop. So,
and I think the RSO has been out for a little bit.
Yes, that's one of those they've got several versions of. That's their latest version, and it could have just arrived. But this is kind of some of the latest and the next to come mini art items. In also remember the two P47s we showed at the beginning. So
if you're not familiar with mini art beyond their armor and their vehicle kits, mini art is absolutely famous for doing garage junk, we shall call it. They do toolboxes, and they do furniture sets, and they do workbench stuff, and machine tools and lathes,
ventilation shaft set.
They do all of these things that for you diorama guys that put your model in an environment. And we've seen a lot of it in our show and tells recently. There are a lot of guys that are using mini art products for their dioramas, and they've really, I mean, 20 years ago, if you wanted a 35th scale step ladder, you had to scratch build it. Well, now there's 35th scale step ladders and
all sorts of stuff,
all kinds of fun stuff that's out there. So,
like wooden barrels, small size.
Yes.
So, that's cool stuff.
Half cake.
Yeah, neat stuff. Lots of good stuff coming. So, this is possibly their most exciting news of the moment. Is they've got a their P47 blew up. That was great. Well, they did another. Was it an F13? I think. Is that a Junkers? I think it is.
Yes, the Junkers F13.
Yeah. So, but this is their next airplane. They're going to do all new tooling, FW190D. And on the left, this is their basic version, which you can see build-ups at the bottom. And on the right, this is their advanced version. And the main, like I said, you get photo etch, same story as the P47 we're talking about. You get some little bit of photo etch, but the main difference is it includes a plastic sprue to allow you to open everything up and display it that way if you wish. So if you're ever wondering what's the $15-ish difference in a basic and advanced, if you want to open it up, you got to do advanced. If you don't care, save the money, do the basic. And not only that, though, they do usually do different decal markings in the kits. So sometimes you might have to, go for the advanced, even if you don't want the parts, just to get the markings. And if you want the advanced stuff and you want the basic markings, then you're stuck buying
Yep.
2 kits probably.
And these particular kits, the one on the left is JG-301, which was a Reich home defense unit. They were tasked with protecting the ME-262 airfields in the latter stages of the war. And the one on the right, I believe, is Jagdverband 44, which was a group of German aces that formed an ad hoc group at the end of the war.
Okay. Well, these are cool. The basic version, I believe, is due out here in the next couple of months. I don't know if it's a March release or somewhere in that ballpark, which translates into us getting it probably in April. But the advanced version, I don't think I've seen any release information yet, but it's definitely after the basic version. So that'll be cool. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Up next, IBG. This is a brand we don't talk about very often, but we've got a lot of stuff coming in from them. And again, without having my data in front of me, I can't be for certain which of these are coming this time and which are coming next time. But they got all sorts of stuff. A lot of their vehicles are 72 scale. They got just, oh man, just a huge selection of stuff. Not just this is their new stuff, but they got all sorts of just weird, interesting, unique vehicles in that scale. And recently, and when I say recently, I mean the last couple of years, they've really been going into the aircraft. As you see here on the top right there, the black box Spitfire. This has been something that we've been getting a lot of requests for lately. This is kind of, I don't know, I guess their version of an advanced kit with some added extras.
Yep.
Now these 2 crop dusters here, this is something that's a little interesting. These are something, it's kind of like, I'm going to pick on Matt in a minute when we get over to the Atlantis about, Matt's not traditionally a modeler, but a kit came out and he's like, I'm going to have to get me one of those. That's kind of like my dad. I've told you the story 1,000 times that he's a model railroader. That's how I got involved in the hobby, is doing railroad with him when I was a kid. But in model railroading, you're still building models, whether they're little cars or buildings or heck, some of the box cars back in the day. But every once in a while, something will come out and Dad's like, I got to get me one of those. Well, that was this crop duster. And the reason is down here, the real picture. This was a much earlier model of the same type of airplane. These were Polish crop dusters. And in the little town of Americus that we're from years ago, the little airstrip down there, Sutherfield Airport, they bought like a bunch of these. I forget how many, like a lot though. And whoever the group was that bought them to bring them over and they were going to use them as crop dusters or whatever, they couldn't get certification to use them. So they literally sat there in the field, and they're still there today. I was asking Dad about it today. I asked him to send me a picture. He just popped in and said over 20 planes are still sitting there just out in the field, rotting away, just like you see here.
Yep.
He says this was back in the 1980s is when they had them, couldn't get certification, and they've literally been sitting out there at the airport since. So just a wacky story. Yeah, he said you can go to Google Earth and the latest image you can see them plain as day. So
one of our Wednesday night viewers, Rohala, that you see on, he pops in, and his daughter Beans, who's a modeler. Merrick is from Poland, and when I told him that these kits were coming out, because he has an affinity for Polish subjects, I told him that these kits were coming out, and he said something to me in Polish, and I had to go and look it up. And when I told him that they were modeling this airplane, he basically said they were garbage. He said even the Poles didn't like them.
Well, they sent some of them over here to America,
Yep.
So they never got used. So it'll be interesting. But that, along with all these other IBG kits, are on the way. Again, I don't know right here without my data which ones are coming, but we do have a shipment on the way that'll be here in February, and several of these items, if not all, will be included in that. So
I'll tell you what I'm excited about from IBG.
What's that?
in the upper right hand corner, they're venturing into 32nd scale,
Yes.
and the PZL or the PZL P11 was one of the frontline Polish aircraft that took on the Luftwaffe in 1939,
Okay.
and actually had some success against the Germans in the opening days of the war.
Okay.
So that's
Well-
one that has, to my knowledge, never been done in injection molded plastic in 32nd scale. So I'm excited for that one.
Well, I'll put you down for one. I like I said, we've got a shipment coming in February. I know that Spitfire's in the shipment. I know the crop dusters are in that shipment, and several of these others may be. But we'll have more of that information on the website here in the next couple of days. And let's move along. Oh, here we go. Atlantis. Now, this is the brand we were talking about at the beginning of the show, reissuing Aurora and Ravel and just all these old kits. Now, this that we're looking at is their entire 2026 plans. They will be issuing, I don't know, a few, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. They'll be issuing a few of these each month all year. I've got a list back at the shop of which months or which kits. And as we put them on the website for pre-order, I'm going to put all of them on the website, but I'm not going to open them up for pre-order until a month or two away. I don't need to be taking pre-orders for these that are coming out in December, but as they get to about a month or two away, we'll start taking official pre-orders for these. But you got a lot of good old stuff throughout here. A lot of cars, a lot of planes, a lot of boats, a lot of ships. Even got the I-19 Japanese submarine there. So any of these kits that you guys remember from way back when, you'll have another chance to pick these up under the Atlantis branding. And over here on the left, this is where I got to joke Matt. So this Kentucky long rifle, this is a brand new kit that's already out. We've had them, we sold out. We got another shipment coming here in the next week or so. But this comes in and Matt carries one up to my office. He's like, "Hey, this is kind of cool. I might have to get one of these." But Matt, you're not a modeler, so is this going to be your first plastic model kit?
I think I need to, especially with all the exposure of being on the team now, I've got to dip my toes in at some point. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I may fail at it, but maybe I'll share it when on one of our Wednesday shows once I get it together.
There you go. Yeah, build you one of those and put it in the show and tell. That'll be cool. Well, it really is a neat model, and right above that, you see they're doing the rifle rack, so you can hang it on your wall. And then I guess they're going to continue with that entire series. I don't know how many of those were in that original series, but I guess there's at least 2 of them. So that'll be coming on.
I'm kind of excited that they're repopping the 1/16th scale funny cars.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be neat. So good for them. And that's one of our U.S. companies here. A guy that runs its name is Peter. Good guy. So any of these kits, certainly grab them up and have a lot of fun with them. Speaking of American companies, here's another one over here, Round 2. They are the company that owns brands like AMT and MPC and Polar Lights. They have a few others, but those are the main 3 that we would normally talk about on Wednesday nights. And this is their next round of releases. We just got a round of releases. I didn't put those in here, but there's some cool stuff that just came in. But this is going to be the next batch of releases. All of these are due out between the end of February and beginning to middle of March. So in about a month to a month and a half from now, any of these 9 kits would be available to you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I know our good buddy Logan Hansen will be all over that 64 Ford pickup.
Yeah, they got a lot of cool stuff coming out recently, so I'm excited to see what else they keep going with. We've got a list of everything they're planning to do, but I think we got to wait a certain amount of time before we put some of them up. But there's some that are, as soon as we can post them, you guys will be pretty excited about, I think. Down below, I know that some of you guys ask us about Arma quite often, and we do have a shipment of Arma coming. They got some cool stuff coming out. One of the things, they got another Mustang, they got some more Hurricanes and whatnot. But this ME-262, this was kind of cool to see them branching out into something a little bit different than what we've normally seen from Arma. So that'll be nice and welcome. And that stuff, sometime in February, there's so much stuff in here. February. February or first quarter, that's my easy answer right now. I don't think the ME-262 is February. I think that's the next shipment. We probably won't see that until March, but we got some of their newest stuff coming. And I think there's a couple of other relatively new releases that either we're out of or we didn't get yet, and those will be in this new shipment too. So Edward, just like clockwork, every month they've got new releases. This is the latest batch. A couple of these, like the dual combo, the P40 is up there. They call it the Kitty Hawk set. Those are actually already in stock. But this is a combination of the newest that just arrived and the next arrival that'll be here. Now, down in the bottom, if you follow Edward outside of following them through us, you may have seen that they have this very limited edition Mi-35 called the Alien. And this is in 48 scale, and it's got one of the more impressive decal sets that I've seen in a very, very long time. This is not something that we are going to put on our website. We have a very, very, very limited amount of these that we will be getting. We should be getting them in March. So if you want one, please email me. This is kind of for you guys on Wednesday night only, because I don't think I'm going to have, depending on how many of you guys are typing me up an email right now, they may be gone by the end of this show. I mean, we really don't have very many at all.
And that's because Edward is doing a very limited.
It's a very limited run. I mean, I don't know how many other places. I don't know. All I know is that we have a very few. So if this is something that you would like and you'd like to get through us, please email me. And if I have any left, I'll certainly put your name on one. ICM, same thing, like clockwork. Every month they've got new releases. We usually get a shipment from them. Sometimes we get them monthly. Sometimes it's bi-monthly. In this case, it's a bi-monthly shipment. We did not get one this month. So in February, we will end up getting January and February's releases. I might be a month ahead of myself there, but either way, we'll be getting 2 months worth of releases on our next shipment in February. But this is just a little example. One of the things that I thought was kind of cool is they've got down here in the bottom right, they've got a B-26 crew figure set coming out. They're kind of like Mini Arts banging out the P-47s, ICM's banging out the B-26s, and they got a lot of different cool versions. Well, now we've got a figure set for it. So that'll be a very welcome addition to the stash over here at my house for sure. All right, Jeff, here you go. 32 scale land. We got some Qatari stuff coming.
Yeah.
The BF-109, that's not, it is new. It's absolutely new for us, but we kind of missed out on the first round of those things, but we'll be getting that. And we're getting their latest Spitfire, which I think is cool because it's got American markings on it.
For those who aren't familiar with Qatari, Qatari is a relatively new company that has involved some of the former members of Wingnut Wings on the World War I side. So if you have ever built a Wingnut Wings kit, and I've done a few, they are spectacular. It's probably some of the best engineered kits that you'll ever build. And Qatari has continued with that tradition, their engineering and everything that I have read. I have a couple of kits here that I've kind of messed around with a little bit in terms of just fondling the plastic, but it appears that they have continued that Wingnut Wings-esque tradition high quality engineering and fitment. So
Excellent.
you are not going to be disappointed with these kits.
I can't wait to see that P-47 then.
Yep.
Well, that'll be cool. Well, after that, Ryefield, and some of these brands, I don't mean to not give them as much time as others, but some of this is, like Edward and Mini Art, and I see them as, new releases every month. So we're always going to have something to talk about them, which is a great thing. Ryefield's in the same boat. This is the next batch of new releases. Going to be very cool. Probably looking at seeing a couple of these by the end of February. I don't know. One or two of those may be in the next shipment. But on this page, the thing that is really anticipated, and in fact, I wrote one of the most anticipated kits for this year is going to be this Dragon kit of the BF-109. This is something that Dragon, and we've talked about it for the past several weeks, but this is something that Dragon announced, if I'm not mistaken, announced several years ago, and then it kind of just fell off the wagon.
Yep.
And then here in the last few months, just all of a sudden, poof, guess what? It's ready. And ours will be here in just a couple of weeks. But by the end of February anyway. And it's just going to be very cool. The way that they've engineered this thing is supposed to be top notch. It's a new way of doing things. I'm very excited to see it, open one up and check it out. So we actually have 2 shipments of these on the way. It's so popular. So the first one, we've still got a few that are unspoken for, but jump over to the website and put in a pre-order if you've not yet, because you're going to want to check this out if you're a 48 scale fan of those German fighters. So TACM, same thing. This is the next round of new releases. We've got a lot of these headed this way that we should see by the end of February. But one of the things that I wanted to mention, because this is kind of, the Shermans are going to be great, and I'm looking forward to those. But this ship down here, this is kind of interesting. And last week, Jeff, we talked about German destroyers and how a lot of modelers perhaps don't know the history behind a lot of those. This is another subject kind of up that same, you could say the same about it. I can't even say for sure I'm familiar at all with this. What is this destroyer?
These were a pre-war 1937, 1938 design. They were comparable probably to the British H-class and to the U.S. Benson Gleaves class of destroyer, built in relatively modest numbers. Most of them served the northern convoy routes and in the Baltic during the war. None were ever really super famous for doing anything. They weren't involved with sinking the Bismarck or anything like that. Nevertheless, they were very good, utility ships. And I know a few of them ended up being sunk during the war by the Germans. But a few of them survived the war and kind of soldiered on into the late 40s and the early 50s.
And some of them must have gotten sold off to, I guess that's China, because the kit down below, that is the more
modernized version of the
version.
Yep.
So, well, there you go. Whether it's super famous or not, that is definitely a hole in many of our 350th scale collections that we might not have known that we needed to fill.
Well, like Stuart mentioned, another ME-109. There's something you don't see every day. But, when a company like TACM and they do, their armor stuff is really quite nice. It's nice to see that companies are taking a chance and venturing out and doing some of these more obscure subjects. So I'm going to pick one up just because I don't know that I've ever built a Russian destroyer.
I know I haven't. So it'll be cool. Those will be here in February. So you guys will have to jump on and grab one and see what you think. All right. moving along, here's a big one. This one was announced today, actually.
It
So
was.
to show that off, the M24 from Tamiya, which is not a reboxing of their older version, which was an Italeri kit. This is supposed to be all brand new Tamiya tooling.
Correct.
Which, if you remember, I don't know if it was last week or the week before that we were talking about. It was last week because whoever the three generations, the father, son, and grandfather, he had built his first. I think it was them. Forgive me if it was not.
That was
you.
a Walker Bulldog, I thought.
Yep. Said it was his first Tamiya kit, and we got into the conversation about Tamiya kits, new Tamiya kits. One of them's $20 and one of them's $80. What's the difference? Well, this is going to be a really good example of that. So if you notice the half track right above it, the German half track, the 8-ton, that is also a new kit, but that is a reissue of a very old kit, 1979, if I remember correctly. So when that kit comes out, I am sure I already have the price somewhere. It's probably going to be, I don't know, $20, $30. It's going to be relatively inexpensive. And when I say relatively, I mean relative to what the M24 is going to come out at. And I don't know what the price is going to be. But if you go back and look at their the Jackson, the M36 that came out earlier this year, all brand new tooling, and whatever the price was on that, I don't want to guess because I'll be wrong, but that is an example of an all new tool of Tamiya pricing for a 35th scale subject. So when this comes out and you see that price of, I don't know what it's going to be, $40, $50, whatever it's going to be, compare that to their previous one that, if you can find one, is probably significantly less. That's how you know that that's brand new tooling. Now they'll tell you also, and will tell you on this screen, the BF 109 down in the bottom left, that is their old kit, but about probably half of it's new parts. So it's not 100% new tooling, but they got a lot of new parts in it. Again, something like the half track, that's going to be their old kit reboxed and available again. So Tamiya kind of does things three different ways: straight up re-release like the half track, brand new tooling like the M24, or a combination of both like they're doing with the 109. So
the M36 is currently on the website at $39.20. And I hearken back to the M18 Hellcat, which I believe is somewhere in the $42 to $43 range. So I anticipate that the Chaffee will be under $50.
Yeah. And when I said 50 for that Jackson, sometimes I speak in MSRP land.
Correct.
But, so but it's cool. Tamiya, what do we say? You can't go wrong with Tamiya. So it's cool to see some of these. They got the new motorcycles. That'll be right up Bill Moore's alley, I think.
Yep.
I don't know if he likes those particular subjects, but he's the motorcycle man in the room.
And the Zack Speed Capri, I'm not sure if that's a new tool or if that's a repop. If it's a new tool, then that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think it's their old kit.
Is it?
Yep. I believe so. So,
and of course the Leopard A7V for your 48 scale armor guys.
And that is definitely brand new.
Yep.
So that's cool. Over here on the right side, all sorts of new trumpeter stuff coming. And again, I can't tell you exactly which ones are coming this time. I know that funky looking thing in the top right is not coming this time. That was announced alongside the 24 scale Razorback. But many of these are on their way, and we'll have them in February, notably the Scharnhorst, the Stevens, and finally we're going to have that 700 scale Queen Elizabeth. That'll be here.
So I did hear a rumor going back to the ships way back, one of the first kits that Trumpeter ever produced, and it was then under the Banner label, was the Italian heavy cruiser Pola.
Yep.
And they are releasing a new 350th Pola, and I have been told that it is not the same kit, that this is a new tool kit.
It's brand new tooling. I think it's going to take as soon as they get here, and I don't think that one is on this current shipment. I think that's going to be after February.
Right.
But as soon as I get one in my hands, I'm going to open that up and compare it to take some pictures of it side by side with the old Hobby Boss version, because that banner kit you're talking about, it became the Hobby Boss version,
Correct.
which Trumpeter and Hobby Boss, they're the same, but this is all brand new tooling. So I'm excited to see what they've done with it.
And the Italian ships historically have gotten a bad rep, but the Italians actually built some very pretty ships.
Yep.
They have nice lines, and of course, Squadron Colors has a full line of Regia Marina naval colors.
Yep.
So
it's going to be good.
It's going to be a good. I think that's going to end up being a Jeff project.
And there it is.
There it is.
The inspiration for the night.
There's one.
We just got a couple more pages, and these last few we'll go through them pretty quick. New Naval releases that have just arrived. They'll be up on the website for sale here in the next couple of days, along with other things. Jeff, you might like to grab you one of these 16 scale kits that they've got. They're redoing their Firebird, so pretty neat. UMA models, they released the Harrier, and then they kind of went silent. It was an excellent kit, but finally they're following up. Granted, this is the same kit with different markings, but it is a good thing that they are releasing a second product. Looking forward to seeing more from them. Zimmy models, they've got a lot of interesting things coming. They're going to do some more vehicles on the rail cars. They've got a couple of these Little Bird Night Stalkers, which I have to assume, and I believe these are the old Kitty Hawk kits, because Zimmy Models is the company that bought Kitty Hawk. They own Kitty Hawk as well, so it looks like they may be cross-branding some of those tooling into their primary brand of Zimmy. But this will be neat to see those. X Plus, the Wolfman, is finally going to be here in February, along with the Legion, which is that funky looking thing. That's Gamera's archenemy. And then the Soldier Legion, which you might not can tell from this, but those itty bitty things all over Gamera, that's the Soldier Legion. If you watch that series, then you know what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's what it is. Then after that, that's what's coming in this time. After that, their next couple of releases are these two figures here that I know nothing about. I know this Nikki figure is the main character, or one of the main characters, off of some mobile app game, if I understand correctly. And this Siren is some creature lady out of an anime series. But that's going to be their next releases, and we are still looking for Frankenstein. I hope that they get it out at some point, but can't come soon enough. I think that's going to be their #1 selling kit of all time if they'll actually get it put out. Border models, HE111, and the figures, they will be here. That's probably going to be here in March. That's, there's been no delays or no speed ups of that, so that's still on track. Border, as talking about announcements for further on down the line, that they have announced a 35th scale B-17. They have now shown some other 35th scale offerings. Mustang, P-51 Mustang, for example. I think that's going to be really good at Dauntless. Over here, DENCOM is back. This is, I don't know, they've partnered up, I believe, with Atlantis. So I don't know the relation there. I don't know who owns what or what the deal is. All I know is that all of the monster scenes and prehistoric scenes from DENCOM are on the way back. And I believe the first round of them is due in March, or February or March, with the rest of them to follow. So if that's something that you missed out on years ago, you got another shot at getting those now. And then the last thing that we'll talk about is this. This is a brand new company. Their first kit is the Jack H. Lucas. This is DDG 125 and 350th scale. On the left, you'll see the basic kit. That's what you get buying the model kit. And then they are also offering an update set, which you can see on the right, and that's got everything that you can imagine. It's got your photo etch and your brass stuff, and the works, if you will. So I know nothing about it because, like I said, this is a brand new company. I'm looking forward to seeing it as soon as it gets here. It's always a welcome thing in my book for a new company to make a new ship model. So we'll just have to wait and see. And that's going to wrap up the flyer.
One of the things that we didn't mention, and it slipped my mind, it's kind of gone unnoticed, but we have been adding Gundam kits and Gunpla kits to our website and to our lineup.
Yep.
So if you are a Gundam modeler as well, take a look at some of the new kits that we have gotten in.
Yep, and we actually just got a shipment that's not been put up on the website yet of a few dozen kits. So we're kind of slowly getting into that, trying to learn and take our time and not get overwhelmed with it right to begin with. So
absolutely.
Well, Matt, what do you think, buddy? I know that you're just sitting there listening to us for the most part, but
he says you lost me at Kentucky Long Rifle.
Well, so here you go.
That's not the case, huh?
I asked him before we got started. I said, "Look, after we get through the production stuff, I said you're welcome to just sign off and do whatever you want to do. You can listen to us in the back or whatever in the back room, the green room there." And he said, "No, I think I'd like to stay on and just be a part, because I want to learn." And so there you go. This is how you create new modelers.
Yep. Well, I mean, let's face it. It was funny because the first time I met him, I kind of looked at him and he looks at me and I looked at him and I went, Marine, and he looks at me and says, Army, and we hit it off from right then and there, So he, within 10 minutes, he's doing the knife hands and he's talking about SOP in the shop, and I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. So now he's part of the family,
There you go.
And of course, inevitably, we're going to have to get him into our bad habits and get him building stuff. So
yeah. Well, you need to grab your P-47 and join in on the group build fun this year.
I would love to. Like I said, it's a learning experience for me, but I'm exposed to it every day, so it's very interesting, and I want to keep learning. So I'm probably going to be a part of the call or every time that I'm able to. So
there you go.
Well, we're going to turn you into a monster, man. You're going to win nationals next year. I can guarantee.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that, Jeff.
Let me answer this question real quick, Jeff, if I could. Rocky Bravo says, "Dang, no Hobby Boss Cougar MRAP." Not specifically about the MRAP or not, and actually, now that I think about it, I didn't put any Hobby Boss in there, so I apologize. But whether it's the Hobby Boss MRAP or anything else that you perhaps know about or were expecting or hoping to see tonight, please know that this was by no means everything new that's coming out.
Nope.
Whether we have it now or whether we have it coming. I tried to throw this flyer together as quickly as possible over the last few days. So there are inevitably several things that I missed out on. January is always absolutely packed full of new announcements and new releases and arrivals and all that. So again, I know that I probably missed several things, and I know for a fact I missed all the Hobby Boss stuff. I didn't even think about it.
So full disclosure here, folks. Okay. 3.5 days ago, Brandon messaged me and said, I have an idea. And I sent him a reply of 3 question marks. And he said, flyer, new releases. So yes. And I'm not joking. It was 3.5 days ago, but we are, and inevitably we're going to finish this show tonight and we'll have an email, sometime in the overnight period that some company has released something new.
There's
that
always
we're not
new stuff coming.
There's just constant stuff coming out. And, sometimes it's actually impossible to keep up with it because there's, as someone has said, this is such a great time in our hobby. Because there is so much stuff coming out.
Oh, yeah. It's a great time to be a modeler.
Absolutely.
Well,
This
we
is the
said,
golden age.
what, 3 weeks ago, we said, yeah, we're going to do show and tell next week, and then we're going to do new item announcements the week after. And like you said, 3.5 days ago, but I guess it was probably 4 days ago, maybe 5, I started thinking about, oh yeah, we got to put all the new products up so we can show them.
Right.
And then an hour into the project, I'm like,
Why
holy
am I doing
smokes,
this
there's
for?
a
Yeah.
ton of stuff. And that's when I text you and I said, hey, I got an idea. Let's
Yep.
put it in a flyer.
And here we are.
So, but this flyer will be up on the website very soon. Actually, it's already there. If you go to, you can't get to it, but let's
Well,
see.
that doesn't help us.
If you were to type in squadron.com/flyers, you can click right on it, and then poof, there you are. But I'm going to link to that on the website. Again, the P-47 group. I know if you were hoping for, Yamaguchi carriers or whatever, and I'll have to explain that story another night. But if you were expecting something else or hoping for something else, I hope we didn't disappoint you too bad saying we're going to do P-47s. But please join us, because if this goes over well and we get a big group, this is something we'd like to do every year at Nationals. And, next year it won't be P-47s.
No.
It'll be something different. So hopefully this will be a cool thing. Again, squadron.com/group. That page is up right now. But again, as I will show you here, there's literally nothing there other than, hey, this is going to be the group build page. Right. So we'll put the flyer there. We'll put some more information up there as soon as possible, and hope you guys will join in on the fun.
And one of the side reasons that, the historians in the group will put 2 and 2 together. The Nationals this year are in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And of course, Evansville, Indiana was one of the major production sites for P-47 Thunderbolts during the war. So when we put this together, we thought about initially what could we do that had an Indiana connection. So we tied it into the National Convention location. And this just happened to work out perfectly.
Yep. Well, it'll be cool. I guess that's going to be it for tonight. We'll get back to whatever's next. Matt's going to get you guys ready to order some stuff Friday and see what you think. Hopefully you like what we've got cooking, because we got a whole bunch more of it coming down the line as soon as possible. So,
yeah,
I
gotta take a crazy puppy for a walk because she's wound right up. She's got the crazies.
Well, Matt, you can hang out for just a minute, and as soon as we end the stream, we'll hang out backstage for a minute.
Okay,
but
sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to you in a second, Matt.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Talk to you in the morning, Jeff.
All righty. Thanks, folks, for your time. Appreciate it.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I hope you had a good time tonight. That was so much stuff to look at. It really is a great time to be a modeler. So many different things coming out in every genre. No matter what kind of models you're into, there's probably something that's going to pique your interest. So a lot of the things we talked about tonight will be available on our website here in the next few days, specifically our 3D printed stuff. What's available now will be available for sale on the website Friday, along with several other things in the pre-order section. As always, if you've got any questions, please email me at info@squadron.com. I'm more than happy to help you. If I can't get with you, somebody else at the shop will be certain to do so. Guys, I appreciate it. We will see you next Wednesday, same place, same time. Y'all take it easy.